full-on gladiator. Are you not entertained?
Welcome to Books and Banter,
Formerly known as Between the Lines.
a podcast about books. I'm Janine, a library clerk,
And I'm Jess, branch admin.
and we both work at the Winkler branch of South Central Regional Library. In this podcast, we talk about books with our own twist. We read the first half of the book and predict where it might be going, and then finish reading the book and discuss the second half.
There will be snark, there will be spoilers, and depending on the book, there may be references to violence, sex, and other adult topics. So if that's not for you, stop listening now.
All right, let's get into this week's book. Today we are discussing The Family Game by Catherine Steadman. The rules: listen carefully, do your research, trust no one, run for your life. Harriet Reed, a novelist on the brink of literary stardom, is newly engaged to Edward Holbeck, the heir of an extremely powerful family. And even though Edward has long tried to sever ties with them, news of the couple's upcoming marital bliss has the Holbecks inching back into their lives. As Harriet is drawn into their lavish world, the family seems perfectly welcoming. So when Edward's father, Robert, hands Harriet a tape of a book he's been working on, she's desperate to listen. But as she presses play, it's clear that this isn't just a novel, it's a confession. A confession to a grisly crime, a murder. And suddenly, the game is in motion. Feeling isolated and confused, Harriet must work out if this is part of a plan to test her loyalty or something far darker. What is it that Robert sees in her? Why give her the power to destroy everything? This might be a game to the Holbeck family, but losing could still prove deadly. Ready or not, here they come. So this book was published in October 2022 and is a standalone book and the fourth novel by Catherine Steadman. Catherine is a New York Times bestselling author, screenwriter, and actress based in London. Her first novel, psychological thriller Something in the Water, was a New York Times bestseller, a Reese's Book Club pick, and a Richard and Judy Book Club pick. She's best known for her role as Mabel Lane Fox in Downton Abbey.
Mabel Lane Fox, sorry, I'm looking this up now.
Yeah, I didn't recognize her face, and I've watched all the Downton Abbey.
Unfortunately, so have I.
So I don't know, I didn't recognize her face, so now I feel like I have to watch Downton Abbey again.
Just spot her.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Who is that?
I know.
This Countess Gillam.
She must,
Must be a bit part.
yeah. But, yeah, I have read Something in the Water and one of her other books, and I really enjoyed them. So far, I'm enjoying this one, too. I'm not sure how you're feeling about it.
Well, let's start off with a cover and then we'll get into
Yeah.
it. Cover's kind of cool. It has nothing really to do with the book so far.
Well, it's got the manor house on it, I
Yeah,
guess.
but what's the neon got to do with anything?
It reminds me of, you're maybe too young for this, but in the 80s, when they would come take your school pictures, there was this background and it had like neon zigzags in the background.
I don't know that I've gotten my picture taken with that, but I'm familiar with the background you're talking about.
That's what this reminds me of.
Yeah.
Is that like 80s neon zigzags.
Yeah. I mean, it looks good. It's not a bad cover. It's so far just not very relevant.
Yeah. I think something happens, like, if I remember correctly, or I think that they go to this house for Christmas.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, it's their family mansion.
Their getaway
Yep.
house. So yeah, this book takes place, well, it starts like just before Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And goes into the Christmas season. So I wouldn't say necessarily that I would consider it a Christmas book.
Not yet.
So,
But
yeah.
it's definitely in the holiday tones, kind of.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of holiday stuff.
There's a lot of holiday
But
stuff.
we'll get into that. It hasn't gotten me so far.
No.
No.
I just feel like there's a lot of secrets and I want to know what the secrets are.
I'm not a huge fan of the character, honestly.
Like Harry?
Yeah. She's kind of annoying. Like, stop just making plans for you and your fiancé without ever asking your fiancé, especially considering he runs a fairly big business, or 2 or 3 or 10. Like,
Yeah.
and how hard is it to say, oh, do you want, let me just check with Edward.
Yeah.
I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
And then Edward goes, oh, yeah, no, that's Thanksgiving. Don't go to that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, she keeps signing herself up for these things.
Yeah, it's true. And then in the one case, she was quite mad at him because she didn't actually know what it was.
Yeah, well, you signed up for it.
Yeah, you agreed to this, so But he didn't tell her. He didn't give her any warning.
I
It
mean-
was a really weird thing that I've never heard of either.
They were both at fault there.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. Even, like, the relationship between her and Edward feels kind of divorce within 10 years.
I feel very suspicious of Edward.
Oh, yes, definitely.
I mean, the whole family, but...
Oh, every
like,
single one.
Edward seems like she's trying to, like, put him off as, like, the innocent, like, I'm separated from my family.
I'm the good rich kid.
Yeah, I have nothing
Yeah.
to do with them and no part of this, but I think that's a lie.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of any family member at all.
No.
Like, except for maybe Billy,
The little kid.
the little kid. I'm a fan of Billy so far.
He's adorable.
He's so cute.
And Harriet.
Yep.
Oh, every time I read that.
Like, I don't know. So far, it's just been a lot of build-up stuff.
Yeah.
It hasn't really, like, it's only in the last 1 or 2 chapters of the first half that we read where it actually got to any of, like, the mystery elements.
Yeah.
And even that, I'm like, are you dumb? Because Robert, like, a little bit of Robert's confession book tape thing that he did, he was talking about a blonde woman, and she just automatically assumed that was the nanny.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's at college.
Yeah.
How are you jumping to nanny? Because I was reading and I went, okay, yeah, girlfriend. And then she starts going off trying to find the nanny, and I'm like, why are you looking for the nanny?
Yeah.
And then the nanny says, oh no, that was the girlfriend. I'm like, duh. Like,
I
why
know.
are you assuming nanny?
Unless she thought he was living in the family apartment, was the nanny there doing, like, housekeeping duties for him?
But
I don't know. Like,
Edward
that would
told
be-
her already that Bobby died when he was in college.
yeah.
So, and plus, at the age that he died, why would your automatic assumption be nanny?
Yeah.
Like,
No,
you're
I know.
far past nanny stage.
I know. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just...
Yes, I know.
Possibly this is what she was thinking. I don't know. I don't know
She
what's
wasn't.
going through her head.
But
she also has a secret, which I am curious about. And she keeps talking about it, like, all the time. Oh, if only they knew what I did. Right? Like, it better be something big.
I have a feeling this whole thing is going to be rather predictable.
Yeah.
So far, the father creeps me out.
Yeah. And
Harry kind of creeps me out.
also how she keeps, like, obsessing over him.
Yeah, oh, he's so gorgeous. And I'm like,
know.
oh,
Yeah.
seriously, calm down.
I'm so hot for him. And I'm like, oh, it's going to be your father-in-law. That's nasty.
Like, it's creepy, and it really undermines her and Edward's relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just kind of like, oh, I know nothing could happen, but it's just a fantasy. Where it's like, just stop it. It's creepy.
Don't even think about it because ick.
No.
Just ick.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know. I don't care how much he looks like your fiance. He's still your future father-in-law.
Yeah.
Like, that's just...
Stop.
Just wrong.
Just stop.
Gross. It's disgusting.
No. So, not a fan of that part.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't trust the other wives / partners either.
No.
They all seem very... I don't know. I just get culty vibes, honestly. Not that they're a cult. No, that the family's a cult.
Yeah.
It just... My first thought when Robert gave her the tape was, does he give this tape to all the women
Yeah.
so that it's mutually assured destruction?
Yeah.
And that's how he makes sure the family stays loyal and doesn't do anything he doesn't want them to do?
Yeah.
Which,
That's true. That's a good point.
I mean, that was my first thought. Plus, he's creepy as hell.
Yeah. Or do they have to be, like, engaged or married into the family to get the tape?
I don't know. I mean, the fact that he gave Harriet the tape, like, 2 hours after meeting her for the first time, where I'm like, oh, I'm sure that you've been vetted and background checked. And
Oh, absolutely.
apparently have a PI following her around.
Yeah, some things.
Although, I don't know that I believe that Bobby's dead.
No?
No, not totally.
But he
It's that white tent.
jumped out a window.
It's the white tent.
Okay.
That's the... I don't know.
Okay.
I could be reading things into nothing, but
Okay.
at this point, something's not kosher there.
Yeah, there's something going on there for sure. I don't know that he's alive, but there's definitely a big cover-up.
Mm-hmm.
And what Edward said was not what actually happened.
No.
And I knew that as soon as he said it. I was like, I doubt that's
Yeah,
what it is.
no.
So,
But that's the thing, like, they lie about one family member lies about one thing, and then the other family member goes, oh, yeah, no, that's totally wrong. Here, let me correct you.
Yeah.
And, like, Edward has to know that she'd find out.
Yeah.
Why lie in the first place?
I know. Why not just tell her?
It's not as though he told her this when they first started dating, where he kind of assumed that contact with the family would be quite minimal.
Mm-hmm.
No, like, it was like, I'll tell you Tuesday that he died from a drug overdose, and then on Wednesday we're going to go hang out with my family, and one of them will tell you something else. Like, it's...
Yeah.
I don't know.
But he didn't tell her before she met the family either.
No,
That's
no.
the other thing. So, like, why are you hiding that? The entire rest of the family, even the nieces and nephews or grandkids, whatever you want to call them, no.
I can
Why would you hide
understand
that?
not getting into it, but it's one of those things where, like, we're engaged now. Oh, by the way, I used to have a brother. He died of a suspected drug overdose or murder or whatever, suicide, whatever it was.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, preferably before the engagement portion. Not that that would necessarily change anything, unless it's like, oh, by the way, I pushed him.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
that would be a bit more of a big thing, but
I don't think that that's what happened.
it's not information that you need to find out at a family gathering.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no.
No. She should have been forewarned
Yes.
on that.
Forewarned is forearmed, and forearmed is half an octopus. So,
Yes.
no. So, should we get into the most fun part?
The most fun part, Krampusnacht.
Krampus. Yes. While I think she should have been warned, and, like, they were mad at her for not knowing when they didn't tell her anything.
Yeah.
That I'm like, oh, come on, seriously?
Yeah.
But I don't mind Krampus. I think he's kind of fun.
Are you familiar with this tradition?
Yes.
Okay, I'd never heard of
We've
it.
never done it or anything like that, but a while ago, I discovered the joy of Victorian Christmas cards. Quite a few, which feature Krampus. It is honestly brilliant and horrible simultaneously,
Yes.
and it's something that I think everyone should get to experience at some point in their life.
Well, I don't know that I really want to experience what she experienced, but
No, Victorian Christmas cards.
oh, Victorian Christmas cards, not
Yeah.
Krampus. That is terrifying. That tongue. Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. It's like a. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's Krampus, which looks like kind of a furry demon with a switch of sticks, with a basket of apples sitting on a rocking horse with a child in front of him.
And the longest, giantest tongue you've ever seen.
Yes,
Ugh.
but Victorian Christmas cards are a joy unto themselves. This is my favorite, because what on earth is going on?
What does that have to do with Christmas?
Well, on the bottom it says, welcome to wish you all a bright new year. It's children riding bats in harnesses. They're wearing little jockey costumes, and they're flying over a marsh.
Yeah.
It's completely random, but it does make me want to send it out as my Christmas card every year. I
You
will show
should.
you more of these, because
You-
honestly, you could do an entire podcast just on Victorian Christmas cards. They are wonderful.
You should send them out this year as your Christmas cards.
Yes, except for my family wouldn't understand it.
Does that
But-
matter?
No. But when Krampus showed up, I'm like, from the cards! The other thought I had was from The Office. Belschnickel, are you impish or admirable? Which you haven't watched enough The Office
No.
to get to that point.
I
But
am not.
anybody that actually understands that reference, good on you. You're one of the millions. But
Yeah.
anyway, that was my first thought when Krampus showed up, where
Okay.
I'm like, it wasn't a surprise to me, and I kind of knew what I was getting into.
Okay. Yeah. No, for me it was like,
I'm like,
What the
I
heck?
know this isn't Santa Claus.
what the heck is this? I've never heard of this. This is terrifying. And like the kid was so scared he wet his pants. Mm-hmm. They locked themselves in a room, like barricaded the door with a bookshelf. I was like, what?
Well, they hired a motion capture actor who, by all accounts, was very, very good at his job. But it does kind of show you how sanitized our Christmas holiday traditions have been to a point.
Yeah.
I will still say, he sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when
I
you're
know.
awake.
I
Creepy
know.
as heck.
Yeah. No, it is.
It's, no.
No. But I mean, Santa Claus was never a big part of my life, so that never really bothered me.
What, you mean your favorite person in the world's not Santa Claus? Yeah.
We were not taught to believe in Santa Claus.
It makes it sound like, oh, worship Santa Claus.
Well, some people
Oh,
probably...
great hairy one that comes to the chimney. Yeah.
So, yeah, no, that was... But then she got a diamond bracelet. Like...
Yeah, for putting up with him.
What the heck is that?
Bribery.
Yeah.
That's what it is, straight up bribery.
Yeah.
We got you a shiny thing, now be quiet.
Yeah, exactly, right? We're going to put you through this horrible experience, but here's a shiny diamond bracelet.
Like, it's one of those things where I'm like, I can understand how after the first one, it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Because it's basically like hide and seek.
Yeah.
Plus, you get to stab him with an evergreen stick, although you don't really get to.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun. Once you know what you're in for.
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
Then, cool.
It might have been fun to be one of the adults who got to watch.
Yeah. Throwing, like, it's a tradition to throw the new people in without explaining anything to them.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I think there's an element of, like, okay, if it was just the adults playing this game, fine. But here, take my child, let me scare the crap out of you with this motion capture actor,
Yeah.
and not explain any of the rules of the game to you, and let's see how you do.
But
As a test of bravery.
all the kids knew exactly what was going on.
Yeah, but do you take a kid's word for it?
Well...
This game is to eat as many cookies as we can. Like...
But they did, like, lead her in the right direction so she could figure it out.
But it was only after Fiona showed up.
Yeah.
To go like, didn't you talk to anybody? No, I was told just to run, so I ran.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it, just as adults, it's fine, kind of figure it out. But now you have this kid who you're supposed to keep calm. You don't really know this kid. You've talked to them for 2 hours at a Thanksgiving gathering, maybe.
Yeah.
They've just wet themselves on you.
Yeah.
And you don't know what's going on. So I can understand, barricade yourself and hope that it just stops.
Yeah.
But also, as good as a motion capture actor as he was, hands off, dude.
I know, right? What was up with that, eh?
Like,
everybody is watching.
paws off. Literally.
Literally.
I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know if it's one of those things. Like, I don't know. With her, it just... She strikes me a little bit as the type of person who's like, oh, yes, he's so into me. No, he was being polite.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much I trust her version of anything.
Right. Also, like, despite the fact that she keeps alluding to some big, like, secret horrible thing that she has done in her past, she seems a little bit naive.
And a little bit ditzy.
About the world. Like, how could she not have known that it was American Thanksgiving? Because the Americans are very, like, Thanksgiving is a big deal down there.
I don't remember American Thanksgiving.
Well, no, but you don't live down there. If you live down there...
No, but she's been there less than a year.
I know, but what I mean is, before Thanksgiving, there's lots of pre-Thanksgiving
You'd think being in New York, the parade would be a hint.
Well, the parade is Thanksgiving Day.
Yes, but...
But, like...
Like, you're kind of in the Thanksgiving capital in terms of cities that go kind of all out for it.
That's what I'm saying. And, like, people are very... Like, it's a big deal, and they spend, like, weeks preparing and making their menu and planning their meal and all of these things.
Some people need to calm down.
Well, I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying this is...
Yeah.
My American brother-in-law was here last weekend for Canadian Thanksgiving, and I think he was slightly disappointed.
Makes it sound like we have polar bear and reindeer. Canadian Thanksgiving. The stuffing is Timbits.
That would be excellent.
Be disgusting.
He would be all over that. But anyway, so what I'm saying is, it's a big enough deal in the States that she should have been aware that it was coming.
There should have been some kind of inkling. I can understand kind of being put on the spot, though. And
I guess.
Just, I mean, the number of times where it's like, people go, are you free that day? I think so.
Yeah, but check your calendar.
But that's the thing, like, if I don't know, I'm not committing.
No.
And I'm certainly not committing my poor fiance when it's his family.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing that they're doing, going through her to get to him, stop it.
I know, right?
Grow up.
Yeah.
I have zero patience for that kind of nonsense.
They're a very manipulative family.
I would not do well in this family.
No.
I do not want to be in this family. Ever. I don't care how much money you have.
I would get walked all over by this family.
I just wouldn't put up with it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not playing your games. Go away. Like, no. I'm going to go hang out with Billy now. Bye. Like, just that kind of manipulative nonsense.
Yeah.
I have family like that.
Yeah.
That's what I grew up with. I'm not dealing with it. I know once you're in, and it's...
Mm-hmm. It's hard to get out of that.
It's hard to get out. So I tend to have a bit more of a, nope. Reaction is just like, nope, not happening, no.
And I'm just like, I don't want to fight about this, so okay, fine, whatever, yeah. That's why I say
You're more of a pacifist than I am.
they would walk all over me because I would just let them.
Yeah, I'd hang out with Billy. Billy seems cool.
Yeah, he's funny.
But, no, I don't know. Like, they're just, it is very stereotypical rich family.
Yeah.
Like, not to throw everybody into the same basket, because obviously there's ones that are perfectly lovely and ones that are perfectly evil.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very much the patriarch of the family has got an iron grip on it.
Mm-hmm.
The sister's nice, but kind of, thinny, but kind of, well-meaning, but also conniving.
Yeah.
Clearly knows what she's doing and knows how to play the game.
Like, who calls their future sister-in-law's publisher and rearranges their schedule for them so they can have tea?
After you've already been told that you will not be having tea on that day.
I know. Like, what kind of...
See, in that situation, I'm still going, well, I may have the meeting on a different day, but I will not be having tea on this day. Like,
Yeah.
It's that kind of overstepping that just grinds my gears.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's not like it's Edward doing it.
Yeah.
Where there's some assumption of trust and whatnot. No, you literally haven't met this person yet, and they're calling your boss.
Yeah.
Like,
I know. I just thought,
if my sister-in-law called my boss to rearrange my day to go for tea?
Yeah. Like, if it's some sort of, like, big, once-in-a-lifetime, like, we got this thing, I want to surprise this person, that's one thing. Even then, it's still a little bit probably not appropriate.
See,
but
I'm stubborn. Big once-in-a-lifetime event, sure, fine, whatever. But then I would have also rescheduled if it was that important.
Yeah.
Like, I'm cantankerous. I'm just like, I'm not going to tea with you. You can pick a different day, but just because you arrange that day does not mean I'm going with you. So you have to establish boundaries.
My sister-in-law should not call you and ask if I can go for tea.
No. Not how it works.
Rats.
I would not do well in these kind of families.
No.
Clearly.
It's too much, right?
It's way too much.
Yeah.
It's my life, my work. You can ask. I'm happy to make accommodations.
Yeah.
But given the fact that this was one meeting in an otherwise relatively open week, you could have rescheduled for a different day.
Yeah.
I don't know what does the sister do? It actually said
she works for the company.
She works for the company,
like the family company.
Okay, the family company that you own shares in, you could probably adjust your day to pick a different one.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be that day, right?
That and the constant. They knew she was under deadline.
At that point, I don't know if they did, though, because she was trying to...
No, because when the mother called, she said, oh, I know you have a hard deadline. I know you got a lot of work to do, but let me pester you about this one other thing. Don't. Very rude. Incredibly rude.
She does have the choice to not answer the phone, though.
Also the case where I'm like, establish boundaries, honey.
Yes.
Just...
I know.
You can tell I'm... This kind of thing, having dealt with it, it just...
Yeah. But also you can tell she's not used to having family in her life.
And how they manipulate.
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
And one thing I thought was, like, I don't know that I would ever agree to marry somebody without first meeting their family.
Depending on the situation.
Yeah.
Like, if your family lives in a different country...
Yeah.
Well, I mean, have a Skype call.
But they don't.
I would be more concerned... It depends... Like I said, it depends on the situation. Because if it's just a case of it's distance... And some families just aren't that close.
Yeah.
But if it is you're not speaking to them because there's been a situation, it depends on the situation.
Yeah. I don't know. I would be a little more cautious, probably.
Yeah. Edward cut off that side because of an issue with the family.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It is not going to do any good. Mm-hmm. Letting those people back in is not doing you any favors. Yeah. Your mental health will suffer. It's one of those things where you have to trust your partner. And if you can't, well, then don't get married.
Right.
Like, if you have bigger concerns, like, he says he doesn't talk to them, but I think maybe he murdered them. Background checks are a good idea.
But was he not the one who brought up meeting them?
Yes.
So, and once they started spending time with them, like, he seemed very comfortable.
He seems like...
Aside from his dad. Like, I think his dad is the one he has the real issue with, not the rest of the family. And so he seems like, with his brothers and mom and whatever, like, he seems quite comfortable being around them. So it's not...
I will say, in the summary, it says, Edward has long tried to sever ties with him.
Yeah.
It's been 9 months.
It says severe ties with them. Which I noticed when I was reading it. And I almost said severe. I was like, am I reading this right?
Yeah, like, it's been 9 months. I get the impression that it's just the father that's the real issue, possibly a little bit the mother if she backs up what the father does. But
yeah,
it's... I don't know.
I think for me, I would be a little more cautious.
I can understand it, though.
Yeah.
With that kind of money situation.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Not saying, would you like to see all the wealth my family has?
That's true.
Things you can add or delete from your prenup?
That's true.
Would you like to put stickers on things? Like, I can understand being quite cautious who you introduce to your family, because gold diggers are a thing.
That's true.
So, I get it.
But I also come from a family background where family is, like, big deal.
I don't.
We gather at every holiday multiple times.
We gather in our robes and chat.
Yes, no, we don't. But my sisters-in-law were both commenting on that yesterday. Like, when they met my brothers, they don't come from families like that. One of my sister-in-laws, her extended family is quite small. The other one, half of her extended family lives in another province. And so they're not used to gathering like we gather.
Yeah. See, so my goal in life is to marry someone who's an orphan that comes from a long line of orphans.
Yeah. It will make your holidays much easier.
Oh, yes. It's... Don't get me wrong, family's fine. But it's also exhausting.
Yep, it is.
And these guys seem particularly exhausting. Partially because, like, the chapter at the front, I'm like, okay, who's gonna all die?
I know, right?
When it starts off with, I killed a bunch of people, and here's why.
Yeah.
Like, I have my doubts, given the character and whatnot thus far, that if Harry kills anyone, that she's justified so far. Unless they're going to, like, attack her or something, and it's self-defense, and stairs are tippy. Like...
Yeah.
I don't know. She's not exactly...
I wonder if she killed one of her parents.
I don't know. I get the impression that it's her fault somehow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, the great-grandmother, Mitzi, sounds cool.
She does. Yeah.
Strikes me that Mitzi and Billy would get up to some nonsense together.
I think so.
Yeah. They'd probably have Krampus tied up in the basement.
That would be hilarious.
And he'd be shouting, Evergreen, Evergreen! Let me go, let me go!
Yes, Krampus.
Yes.
That's just... No, I was reading that and I was like, no, thank you. I'm glad this isn't part of my family tradition at Christmas.
See, I think it's one of those things where when I read Krampus, I'm like, okay, I know what I'm getting into here. This is going to be good. It was honestly the most enjoyable part of the book thus far. But I can see how, like, a weird Christmas tradition. I wonder. Oh, no, that wasn't at all what you were expecting. No. Like, it's so far off on the North American Christmases that it's not even close.
I know.
But Christmas traditions and whatnot in different areas are quite fascinating. Yeah. Santa technically has a brother, sort of.
Santa has a brother?
Kind of.
It's like Jesus' brother Bob?
There's... No, not a brother, technically. There's the patron saint of thieves.
Okay.
Who... They don't have Thanksgiving Day, they have Thanks-taking Day.
Oh.
Yes.
Thanks-taking Day.
And between the Thanksgiving and Krampus and the whole 9 yards, that came to mind, but...
Yeah.
We might have more information on that for the second half, but...
Happy Thanks-taking.
Yeah, it's patron saint of thieves, so just...
Yeah.
Stealing stuff.
I like that.
Which... I mean, it does sound a lot like Black Friday.
Only technically you still have to pay on Black Friday.
Well, Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving Day, I think, is the day after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So, Black Friday.
Yeah, true. True.
But yeah, we'll have more information on that at a different point in time in the second half.
Alrighty.
But, yeah, the most enjoyable parts of this book were the fact that they reminded me of other better books. I don't know. I don't like any of the characters. When I don't like any of the characters, it's very difficult to get behind anyone.
Yeah.
It's like Verity.
Yeah.
There's not a single character there I liked.
Yeah.
And it was giving me very much the Verity vibes and the kind of creepy-ish main character who's really not mentally healthy.
Yeah. And
creepy family.
Yeah.
Guy who seems just a little bit too perfect. I don't know.
Yep.
I mean, it's not Verity.
Yet.
The author thing also didn't help.
Yeah.
But that same kind of... all of these characters are not nice people.
Yeah.
So, except for Billy.
Except for Billy and Mitzi.
Yeah.
Except she's dead.
Mitzi's dead.
So, yeah, you're right. They are all a little sketchy.
Mm-hmm.
But, having said that, it also read very fast.
Yeah.
It did not take me long to get through.
No, it was very quick, so...
Yeah. So it's not a difficult read so far?
No, it's written well.
Yeah.
It's just...
Well, obviously,
I like to be able to like one of the main
characters, right?
Yeah.
So usually when that happens, when you have strong feelings about characters like that, that usually means they are pretty well written, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, it's like Verity. Horrible people.
Yeah.
Very well written.
Yeah, she is, from that one book that we read,
yeah,
I would say Colleen Hoover is a good writer.
Mm-hmm.
Did I like the book? Not at all.
She made me care enough to hate.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Yeah, it's true, though.
Any predictions for the second half? Other than I think that Bobby's still alive.
Yeah, I wrote that down so I'd remember for next time.
I'm usually wrong on these things, but...
I don't know.
Somebody's going to die.
Somebody is going to die. Just who? Also, I wonder if, she keeps saying she did this horrible thing, and is it just going to come out that, she thought she was responsible for something that she wasn't because she was just a kid, and,
I hate it when the authors are like, oh, there's this big, terrible secret. I can't tell anyone. It's weighing on my mind.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually think I'm responsible for something that I had literally nothing to do with. I'm like, it's not that the survivor's guilt is not a valid feeling.
No.
It is. But don't make that the big part of the story. Don't make that the big twist.
When you're building it up so much that the character mentions it in every other chapter.
Oh, I know.
Then I want it to be, a big surprise.
Yeah. Rob a bank.
Yeah. Something.
Have a secret life in Argentina.
Yeah.
Come on. Interest me somehow.
So I'm really hoping for, a big twist.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to come or not, but...
I mean, there are times when I feel like authors must read reviews of their books and whatnot that are negative, where it's just full-on Gladiator. Are you not entertained? I mean, if it was me, I'd definitely do that. Well, I don't know. Read the second half, find out.
Yeah. I am looking forward to reading the second half because I have a lot of unanswered questions right now.
Yeah.
So I hope the answers are good answers and not...
Yeah, I will say, the guy that's following her around, she thinks he's a PI for Robert.
Yeah.
I'm seriously curious if that's Bobby. He fits the age group.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want Bobby to be alive or dead, but...
Only time will tell.
Yeah, we'll find out. I'm going to be horribly wrong on all of this because I always am. But it's still fun to guess. So, we'll find out in the next one.
Yeah. We are back with part 2 of The Family Game by Catherine Steadman. So, what did you think of the Psycho family?
Boring and predictable. Honestly, the second Robert gave her the dates of the murders, I'm like, oh, it's Edward.
Really?
Yeah, literally.
How did you figure it out?
Because Robert had no prior history, and Edward was 17 at the date of the first murder.
Okay.
It's very rare for serial killers to start that late in life. I'm not saying it never happens, but it's quite rare, and he had the power and money to make it go away years before that.
That's true.
Whereas Edward, 17, kind of works with the general pattern of serial killers.
I guess, although... that didn't say that there wasn't more before that Robert just didn't disclose to her.
No, but still, it seemed like there's a point where if you're going to tell her about some of the murders, why wouldn't you tell her about all of the murders?
I guess so.
Like,
see, I didn't pick up on that. I was shocked.
Really?
Yes, I was.
I was bored for most of the second half because I'm like, it's Edward. It's Edward. It's Edward.
No, I did not see that coming at all. And I don't know who I thought. I thought it was Robert. And so to me it was a total surprise.
I'm glad I fooled someone.
Yeah. Now I just feel naive.
I was probably listening to a few too many true crime podcasts recently.
We really should rename this Cynical and Naive.
Yeah, we should. I'm like, of course they're murderers. Everybody's a murderer.
I know, right? I just, like, I wonder, though, like, if she suspected when he came back from Hong Kong, if she had a suspicion.
I don't know. Like, to be honest, their relationship felt wrong.
It did, yeah, I will agree.
Harriet literally thought more about Robert than she did about Edward.
Oh, I know. And not in a,
not in a good way.
In a gross way.
Like...
In a way that you shouldn't be thinking of your future father-in-law.
No. Like, there's a point where it just kind of felt like she's going through the motions with Edward and, like, how much time did they actually spend together? Because it was always like, he's on his way out, she's on her way out.
Yeah.
It was always kind of two ships passing in the night kind of a deal.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
Yeah.
And he was also, I mean, it's like Verity. When they look too good, they probably aren't.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's that never trust perfect people.
Yeah. Too good to be true, right?
Yep.
Yeah. No, that is true. Well, you had, I think, said last time that you thought Bobby was the person who was following her, which they never, like...
He just, like, poofed.
Disappeared.
Like, she went to listen to the second half of the tape or whatever it was in, like, a random bathroom stall rather than her own apartment.
I know. Like, I was so, like... She
really?
went to the gym to hide out in a bathroom stall to listen to this tape.
Like, couldn't you have told Edward, like, I'm writing, don't disturb me, lock the door, listen to the tape, like...
Like, they each had their own office in the apartment.
Yeah.
So why...
And I'm assuming he's quite used to her, like, just hunkering down for...
Although she had submitted her manuscript already, so...
And the next book.
Yeah.
Like...
Or edits.
Quite conceivable that...
Yeah.
You lock yourself away for a bit.
That's true.
But then the guy, like, that was the literal last mention of him.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't like, was it actually Robert following her around? Was it Edward following her around?
Yeah.
Or having her followed?
Yeah.
Like, it was never cleared up. It's just the guy just poofed.
I know. And that was the end. There was no, who is this mystery man? But you had, I think, thought last time that it was Bobby.
I thought there was potential for Bobby still being alive because the white tent made me suspicious.
I know. So I was waiting for Bobby to appear.
You're so busy waiting for Bobby, you missed Edward.
Yep. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know.
It kind of felt, honestly, with the ending, it's like, oh shoot, somebody has to be the bad guy. Quick, make it Edward.
Mm.
Like, it's kind of boring. Everything happens at once. All the people die. Look at all the bodies.
Yeah. It was like... I did find the second half a little slower than the first, for sure.
I found the first half just like glaciers move quicker.
Yeah.
And have more relevance.
Than the first half? Okay.
Well, there's a point where I'm like, yeah, we get it. The family's weird.
Yeah.
The Krampus thing was about the most interesting part of it. And even that, like, there's a point where I'm like, cool. I would like more history on Krampus. I'd rather read a book about Krampus. But...
Well, we'll have to find one for next year.
Yeah. I mean, the games that this family plays, honestly,
They're psycho.
The entire family's a little bit bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
And don't even get me started on Fiona. I'm not sad she's dead. Not at all.
Harsh.
She expected Harriet to abort her child.
Yeah.
So that Fiona's kids could get money.
Yeah, I know. That was like
I'm not crying that you're found dead in a maze.
That's why I say this family is nutso.
Like,
I could not imagine marrying into a family like this.
Never trust the rich.
No, apparently not.
They've got too much money.
Yeah, I know.
I know, shocking that the rich have too much money. But it gives you that sense of invincibility and that nothing can touch me, so I can do what I want.
And they have time to think up crazy games to play.
And, like, there's the thing I read once where if the punishment for a crime is a fine, it means it's legal for the rich.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it boils down to.
That is true. Anyway, I also, like, Harriet was very paranoid the entire time.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I understand. I don't know how I would react in that type of situation. I don't think I'll ever be in that type of situation. But, like, yeah, like you said about going to the gym to listen to the tape.
Yeah.
Was, to me, like, very weird.
Well, you've got a higher probability of being caught that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's an odd thing to do, in my opinion.
This whole book, honestly, just kind of fell flat.
Yeah.
Like, there's not really a single likable character other than Billy. Billy's cool. I'm glad the kids were in the cabin with the nanny.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, no.
Yeah, and I think that was intended. I think Robert knew that it was going to come to a head. And so that...
And he was pushing for it to come to a head.
Yeah. Well, I think it was time, right? Like, how many more people have to die? Like, why couldn't we have... What, like...
My question is, why on earth could Robert not have given all this information to the police?
Well, then he's turning in his own son.
Whoop-de-ding.
Well, family loyalty. I don't know.
You can deal with the scandal. If anything, the scandal makes him look better because he caught his serial killer son and did the right thing and turned him in.
Yeah.
Is it going to be bumpy? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's much better than it coming out in some other way because there's nothing guaranteeing that Harriet won't talk.
Well, but that's, I think, why he had the dirt on Harriet also.
Okay.
And
the dirt on Harriet, I want to talk about that.
Okay. Let's.
No court is going to convict her. Ever.
You don't think?
Never.
Why?
Because she was a child, 11 years old. I don't care that the culpable age for criminality or whatever is 10. She was an 11-year-old child who recently suffered huge trauma.
Yeah.
You cannot... There's not a jury in the world that will convict her.
I bet there is a jury in the world that would.
I very much doubt it.
But, I mean...
You had, like, there is nothing saying that child did not have head trauma. She just watched both of her parents die.
Yeah.
Even if she did light the car on fire on purpose, forget it. That's not gonna actually convict.
Well...
I'd stake Harriet's fortune on it.
Which is now huge.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know, like...
No way. Not happening.
The criminal justice system works in weird and mysterious ways a lot of the time.
I have a bit of familiarity with the British justice system.
Okay.
I used to be a butler. I killed everyone. I got away with it. It's fantastic. No. It doesn't work the same as the States. Partially because juries... Like, in the States, juries basically the go-to.
Yeah.
There's a lot of judges making the decisions in Britain.
Okay.
And that tends to be the majority of cases. This, forget it.
Okay.
Judge isn't going to rule her as criminally culpable for it. Not going to happen.
Well, obviously she wasn't very familiar with the criminal justice system either, so she didn't...
She's operating on instinct and fear.
Yep.
And she knows that she did it intentionally.
Yeah.
A good lawyer, paid for with her billions, forget it.
Yeah.
She's not going anywhere. However, the murdering of Edward still could be ruled as self-defense.
Yep. I think... I think it was kill or be killed.
Pretty much.
Right? So... I found that less wrong than the setting the car on fire and killing the drunk driver who killed her parents. I don't know why. To me, it just seemed less wrong. Just saying.
I don't want to say they're on the same plane of wrongness, because they're both wrong in different ways, but they're both understandable. Like, I don't agree with the state's castle doctrine, where you can defend your castle up to lethal force, because you end up with a lot of deaths due to your gun-happy laws. A lot of those aren't necessary. Being a Girl Scout is now one of the most dangerous jobs in America.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. You ring the wrong doorbell, you get shot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think self-defense can go too far, and I think in the States it has gone too far.
Yeah.
However, that being said, in this situation, there's absolutely zero doubt that he was going to kill her.
Oh, yeah.
And He wasn't going to stop for anything short of death.
He had already killed 2 other people.
Yeah.
And attempted.
And if you look at the pattern, he kills the women in his life.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that hypothetically may have saved her is the baby, and even that, the dude's totally psycho.
Yeah.
I don't think that would have actually held him back much.
Yeah, no.
So.
And
if anything, it would have been a case of we pretend to live happily ever after till the baby's born, and then he kills her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Oh, she wasn't coming out of that one alive.
Nope.
No way, no how. I have to laugh though. You said you were a British butler. So I'm reading this book. I'm reading The Martian. And so he's stuck on Mars. And so he has all of his like crewmates stuff there. And so somebody had a big collection of Agatha Christie books. Mm-hmm. And so he was reading through them. And so...
Because what else are you going to do on Mars?
Well... So somebody also left like Three's Company, had Three's Company tapes or whatever. So we've watched Three's Company, whatever, all these things. But so he had was reading all these Agatha Christie books, and then he found himself in this situation, and he said, I couldn't help but wonder, what would Poirot do? And I just thought, what?
It's just kind of, you're on Mars, dude.
I know. Poirot, is that how you say it?
Poirot.
Anyway, would never be in that situation.
No.
So you can't know what he would do.
But they're still thinking logically and, I know. Examining the facts and the evidence and that kind
I
of
just
thing,
thought it was like a funny, funny thing to think.
Yeah, a little bit.
It made me chuckle. Anyway, that's just an aside. But, yeah, overall, like, I didn't mind the book. I think I probably liked it more than you did.
Mm-hmm. I think that can be said of most of them. It was predictable. And... not a single likable character.
The characters were not very likable, I agree.
Like, even Harriet.
Yeah. Oh.
She found the dead receptionist, or whatever she was, in the well.
Yeah.
And by all indications would have just gone merrily on.
Yeah.
With no thought to... Even if you aren't going to call the cops to the hide and say, look, down the well, down there. You could at least, with your millions and connections and everything... bring her somewhere.
Yeah.
And go like, there you go.
Yeah.
So that at least her family could have closure.
Exactly.
Like, it is
the
possible.
thing. They all thought she was still alive and working and whatever. And that whole thing was very sketchy too. Like when she tried to call her at the office.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, just wait a minute. Okay. Like they were very awkward about it.
The entire book is very awkward. Like, that's, I think, the best way to describe this book is awkward. It feels a little bit like a robot wrote a book. I don't know. I know rich people are different.
Yes.
In that their priorities and mannerisms. And not all of them, to be fair, not all of them. But I mean, Jeff Bezos is a human. But everything just kind of felt like stilted.
Yeah.
Like, the siblings didn't really have any kind of relationship, really.
Yeah.
The sister, even, like, she was one of the more human ones. Mm-hmm. And even she had zero concept of, hey, maybe don't reschedule my life so I can come to your tea.
Mm-hmm. Although, out of all of the family, she was probably the one I liked the most.
Yeah.
She was the most likable.
Yeah. The mother,
She just seemed like if you met her, it would be like a blank stare. Mm-hmm. Kind of like... Yeah.
Pretty much. Like, she puts on whatever mask she needs to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I felt kind of bad for Oliver.
Yeah.
Because he got stuck in the whole thing and...
Yeah.
Wasn't really...
Yeah.
Actually, no. The one I liked the most was Stuart's. Lila?
Yeah.
Stuart's girlfriend.
Yeah.
She was cool.
I was, I don't know, it was before this that she left. I'm like, where did she leave? Lila.
Yeah, it was Lila, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was about the most normal person there.
Yeah. But she didn't seem as, like, committed as the rest. Like, they weren't married yet.
Yeah.
And, she had a kid with somebody else, so she had, like, another life outside of the family.
I'm glad she was just left.
Yeah.
To go deal with Miles?
Miles,
yeah. Like, I'm glad she wasn't in this whole debacle.
Yep.
Because, well, she's the most normal person. We must protect the normal.
Yes.
I don't know. That and the maids. The fact that they got stuck in there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you didn't deserve to work for this crazy family.
No. Nope. But maybe now they'll move on a little more normally.
I don't know. I mean, now she's filthy rich with a daughter who's going to be filthy rich.
Yep.
She still has some ties to the family. Honestly, at this point, my prediction is as soon as Robert's wife dies, she marries him.
I know. Because she seemed very enamored with him in the end because he chose her over his own son, according to her. And I'm like, well, he knew what his son was.
Like, her obsession with him is...
It's creepy.
Creepy. Very creepy. But...
I did not like that part at all. I just thought that was ick.
It's unnecessary.
No.
Like, it's not like anything happened, or... I don't want to say could happen, because obviously it could happen.
Mm-hmm.
But there's kind of no point to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not uncommon for these kind of books when the fiance, wife, whatever, meets the father to go, oh, yes, that's what my husband, boyfriend, whatever, will look like in 20 years. It's not uncommon for that to be a thing. It is quite uncommon for the main character to then fixate on it.
Yeah.
To a creepy level.
Yeah. No, it was ick.
And unnecessary.
Yeah.
Very unnecessary.
Yeah.
Added nothing to the story.
Not at all.
Like, she could quite easily have gone with the more of a father figure kind of role and achieved the exact same without me gagging a little bit.
Yes.
Like,
because it's clear that she needs some parental guidance.
yes.
Yeah.
Stuart alive at the end of it?
I think so.
Because Oliver and Fiona died.
Yeah, no, I think Stuart made it out.
I don't think... Was there any indication of what happened to Billy?
No.
I don't think there was.
The kids were all fine.
Yeah. But both their parents are dead.
Yeah. So
who gets them?
They didn't say, but they said that they got trust funds so that they were...
Of course they got trust funds. Everybody's got trust funds.
They would be set up for life. They got what the parents wanted for them.
Yeah. At this point, I hope that they're cared for by Lila and Stuart, because Harriet shouldn't be a parent.
No. They'll probably be raised by the nanny.
Probably. The nanny seemed relatively cool.
Yeah.
As much as a nanny can.
As much as we got to see her.
Yeah. The hunting tree stands.
Mm-hmm.
What was the point of those?
I think it was set up as a place for them to go hide.
She never went and hid there.
She didn't, but she told her mother-in-law and sister-in-law to go there.
Yeah, but that was kind of unnecessary.
Well...
Like, they could have gone and hid in the stables or something, and we would have been perfectly fine, and there was staff there to...
It also had to do with the name of the house.
Yeah, but there's no reason why they couldn't have just gone with, oh, yes, it's called the hide because there's hunting hides and lines all around. Yay. Rather than, like, the weird, like, her somewhat snooping expedition of Edward climbing up into a hunting hide and looking down on her and said, oh, you're little, and kind of creeping her out, which I don't understand how that creeped her out.
Well, I think it was setting it up in case she needed a place to hide.
I don't.
Well...
See, that's the thing. This whole book, like, the PI who just poofed. The hunting hides being set up, but not really being used for anything. Like, it would have been very easy to tell the mother-in-law and sister to just hide pretty much anywhere else. Like, there's a lot of kind of dropped threads.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying.
I mean, they're all kind of little, like, they don't really make a huge thing, but by the end, you're left with half of a scarf and you're kind of annoyed.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. And I mean, Edward's reasoning for choosing her. Because you've killed someone too and we're soulmates. Go away, dude.
Well, he did go away.
Like, you literally could have picked somebody else. Like,
well,
it's not as though him killing, 6 women, is comparable to her after a traumatic accident with guaranteed head injuries setting one dude's car on fire.
No.
Like, when she was 11.
But he's not going to think about it that way.
No, because he's nuts.
Well, yeah, exactly.
But, like, it's very weak. Like, it's not as though this would have had more weight if she was, like, 17 when it happened. Because then she would have actually been criminally liable. I maintain that no court will touch her. If she had been 17 when she did that, 16, 17, you know, of an age where you kind of accept a bit more criminal responsibility, then he would have had something.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think head trauma would have been a very good lead for her lawyer, but there's a bit more understanding of consequences and actions and everything.
Right.
Whereas now it's like, I picked you because you were once a traumatized child.
Yeah, well, you see that, but he, in his psychopathic ways, does not see that, so...
I don't know.
I get it. Like, he probably thinks, oh, she killed somebody, she can understand.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I get where he's coming from.
Everything's just very thin.
Yeah.
On plot, on story, on character development. Like, I don't know, none of the characters were well... I'm just tearing this book to shreds, I'm sorry. Like, it's horrible! Terrible book, never read it. It's very reminiscent of Verity in a lot of ways. Like, quite honestly, the kind of creepy fascinations and morally ambiguous characters.
Yeah. There is a lot of moral ambiguity.
And the games, honestly, are annoying.
The games?
Like,
oh my gosh.
The Krampus thing, I can understand that being fun if you know what you're going into.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, yeah. Sounds interesting. But the Christmas game thing... I'm like, it would be fun if the family wasn't full of psychopaths.
I know, like,
I like the general idea of everybody has, like, a custom little, like, treasure hunt clue thing, and at the end, you get a present.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to limit it to one present per. You have literal billions.
Yeah, exactly. And not even one present per, but, like, one person.
Yeah, one person, period.
Yeah.
Which just makes it way more cutthroat than you need at Christmas. I mean, it should be red for Santa Claus, not blood. Like,
yeah, no, I know.
And you still get a bit of competition and whatnot because you still want to, like, finish first. But I think it has the potential to be quite fun if you don't make it live or die.
Yeah.
Like, I know this game didn't go exactly according to plan because your house burnt down and most of your kids are dead. But there's a point where I'm like, even if it had gone to its conclusion, like with Uncle whatever his name was.
Yeah.
We'll call him Henry. Who, if he'd won the game that year, would have had all of his gambling debts forgiven. That's great in some ways, and it's kind of an interesting way of, like, being able to do a member of your family a big favor and still have it be slightly earned.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that's kind of... I don't know.
But it's also, let's put a magnifying glass on your failures.
Yeah.
Right? Like...
And the thing that I really don't agree with is the fact that if you won, you get to know what everybody else's things are.
Yep.
Which, no.
I know, right?
Like, that's going too far. As a general treasure hunt idea, cool. You did it wrong.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
The book is full of horrible people. I don't like them.
So this is a no for you.
This is a no for me.
This is, if you have time and nothing else better to read it.
No, don't. Find
Although
something
now we
better.
spoiled the ending, so you don't have to. And yes, there are much better thrillers out there than this one, for sure.
Read The Pawn instead, literally, way better. See, my thing is, I have a problem with characters that are unlikable, but boring. I can deal with unlikable, but interesting.
Yeah.
Psychopaths, fascinating. Because I don't understand how your mind works, and I like to know.
Yeah.
I like a good villain.
Yeah.
But these guys are just boring.
Yeah,
They're so one-dimensional, they're basically Flat Stanley.
They're not that interesting at all. That is true. Yeah.
Sorry, Catherine.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
Do you have any fun facts so I stop ripping this book to shreds?
I do have some fun facts.
That's so bad, no.
So today's fun facts are going to focus on confessions, because a part of this book obviously dealt with confessions.
I would like to state for the record that I advocated for the fun facts being about the invention of the cassette tape, but somebody overruled me.
Did I? Because you also suggested confessions, which I thought was more interesting.
You look so upset about these cassette tapes.
Well, it sounded kind of dull. Anyways, there's a thread on Reddit where you can share your confessions and then people can comment on them. Most of the ones I read were fairly tame, i.e. I stole blah, 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 blah. Mostly not like huge things. But there were some more serious ones that involved things like relapsing on addictions, getting someone fired, and lying about having cancer. So it was kind of interesting. As I was reading through them, I was like, do I really want to be reading all of these things about all these people I don't know? Not really. And then like I would read one and there would be like, you know, a confession, but I always want to know more. Tell me more. Let's, you know.
Well, my question is the FBI keeping tabs on this page?
I have no idea.
I would assume that they are. Because if there's confessions, like most of them, like they're not going to go after you because, you know, you stole a chocolate bar or whatever. But just in case somebody posts anything like big, just keep an eye on it and maybe do a bit of internet detective work.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like something like this, I wouldn't post a confession on there.
I wouldn't.
IP addresses are a thing.
Yeah.
Like, nope.
Yeah, no.
I'm just basic, you know, you put it in a notebook, then you lock that notebook into a safe deposit box, and then you have a trail of clues leading to it.
Yes.
Old school.
Old school.
We do things properly.
Leave a trail.
Exactly.
Yes. So anyways, I thought that was interesting. Little article I found called False Confessions Explained by Melissa Boyers Bluestein. A false confession is a statement given by a person that incriminates them in a crime they did not commit. Since the National Registry of Exonerations began tracking exonerations, consistently 20% of all exonerations have involved someone who confessed to a crime they didn't commit. How many more times can I say exonerations? So.
And now for a PSA. If you are ever arrested, the first thing you do, and the only time you open your mouth, is to ask for a lawyer. Guilty, innocent, doesn't matter, you need a lawyer. That is one thing that just, trust me,
not debatable.
You need a lawyer.
Get a lawyer. I know. It's like, reading this story about VC, I was like, how could they even convict him when the lawyers had his time card from his work? Like how, and surely his coworkers could corroborate that he was actually there. How could they?
Welcome to the U.S. criminal justice system.
I was like outraged when I was reading this.
The amount of false confessions.
Yes.
Is absolutely ridiculous. But when you look at the fact that they will question witnesses, lie to them, say, well, we have evidence of you doing it. We do. And they don't have to back that up.
Yeah.
For the record, police can lie to you when they're interrogating you. Like, they can lie at any point in time. There's literally nothing stopping them. The fact that, in general, when it gets to court cases, you have to have a good lawyer. Because the amount of evidence that can just be, poof, done. If you look at the O.J. Simpson trial, one of the main issues with why he wasn't convicted for the murder originally was when they were explaining DNA evidence, they did not pick a personable person. He did not explain it in such a way that the jury understood. And as a result, they didn't realize that, no, the DNA evidence is basically like, yeah, no, you did it. When you combine uneducated juries, police that can lie willy-nilly, and the fact that you can keep witnesses and interrogate them for hours and hours and hours on end until they're like, you know what, if you just agree with us, if you sign this, then we'll let you go home.
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
Of course there's false confessions.
If you want to watch a really interesting show about false confessions, watch on Netflix When They See Us, it's called. It's about the Central Park Five, who's 5 young men, teenagers, who were convicted of rape. None of them were involved. None of them were, I don't think, even near the crime scene. They said that they did it together, and most of them weren't even known to each other. And like, it was so maddening to watch. I can only imagine living through that. But yeah, the police got in there. They had these guys pegged. They were all like, you know, people of color, and so they thought they had these guys pegged. These are our guys. And then they kept telling them, well, this guy said you did this, and this guy said you did this, and this guy said this, and like, you know, like, so by the end of the night, they were convinced that they had done it and, like, kept them there all night long. They wouldn't let their parents in to see them. None of those things. And it just...
And they were all underage at that point?
I think there was one who maybe wasn't.
Okay.
But yes.
But see, that's the thing. Lawyer, 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 lawyer.
I know, but they're just kids. They're like 13 and 14
That
years
is
old.
one of the things that I am knocking into my kids' heads as soon as possible. You call your lawyer. Period. You call your lawyer.
But yeah.
Because nobody else is fighting for you.
Well, and this was like in the 90s, right? So they probably didn't, you know, and I think most of them were from like poorer communities and
marginalized population that gets picked on.
And like their lawyers fought for them in court, but it wasn't enough because in the media...
It's so important to get them... Like, don't say a thing.
I know.
Literally, don't say a thing.
No, but what do you... When they're keeping you there like 12 hours, they're not giving you food, they're not like... And they are pounding this into your head that you did this and this person said that you did this. And you're like, I don't even know who that person is. Why are they telling you that I did this? Because I had nothing to do with it.
See, that's where I think laws need to be changed.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
should not be allowed to interrogate people for that long.
Yeah.
Like, because that's what it is. It's an interrogation.
Yeah.
Like...
But yeah, it's a really interesting story. I thought it was very impactful. And then they have, at the end, I think it's like 4 episodes or something. And then at the end, they have an episode called When They See Us Now. And they bring in the actors who played the characters and also the real people. And it's Oprah. But they interview them all and talk to them about it and everything. It's really interesting.
But like this, with Willie Veazey. The death sentence. Really?
That is why I have such a huge problem with the death sentence.
There's too many innocent people. And I don't think you should get the death sentence for one murder.
No, I don't think killing somebody because they killed somebody is a just punishment either.
No. Even serial killers, there's a point where I'm like, how about we study them and figure out how we fix what made them broken? I think there's more merit in that than zapping people. And the fact that you get a first-degree murder charge for one murder and a death sentence for one murder, like, by that logic, every police officer that shoots an unarmed black teenager for daring to wear a hoodie in a white neighborhood should get the death sentence.
You don't have to tell me that. When I was in college, I took a social issues class, and my big research topic was capital punishment. My paper was like more than twice as long as it was supposed to be. I think I'm pretty sure I got an A, but the prof did right. This was a very good and well-researched paper, if a bit long. And I was like, I know. But there was just so much, and I didn't know what to cut out because I just couldn't. Because it's something that I feel very strongly about, and I am so thankful that we don't have that in Canada.
And there's a point where I'm like, seriously, if you're in prison for marijuana possession, just let them out. They just want snacks. Just leave them be. Like, you're arresting people for having the munchies. Chill out, people.
Oh, anyways, this has gotten a little bit off of the topic of false confessions, but yes, it happens, and way more often than you think.
Way more often than it should.
Yeah.
Ever.
And there's a reason for that, of course. But anyway, those are my not so fun facts.
Oh, now I'm depressed. No.
Yes.
This book, honestly, is disappointing. I wouldn't recommend reading it. There's better books out there.
Yeah.
You can just skip this one. You'll be fine.
Yep.
This is not the book that you're going to regret not reading when you die.
And this is not even her best book either, I don't think.
It's her fourth book?
I think this is her 4th. I enjoyed others of hers that I read more than this one.
Read her other books, not this one. Although I do wonder if we did the other ones, would I tear them apart too? And you're going, oh no, actually it is bad. Because I feel like that's what we end up doing every time, is you're like, well, I actually kind of like this book. And I went, no, it's horrible. And let me detail the reasons why.
Every time.
Sorry.
Naive and cynical.
Yeah, pretty much. I think we'll leave it there for today.
It's probably a good idea.
So that's what we thought of the book, but those are just our opinions, and we'd like to hear yours. Leave us a comment.
Thanks for joining us for Books and Banter, and thanks to our editor, Linda. We'll see you next time.